Good morning, everybody. It's great to welcome you to Mellors here in Rochdale, one of our truly valued suppliers to the B Network. And how brilliant is it that there are young people working here at Mellors, apprentices, who are building buses that they then can see in service in their own community. That's something that people maybe think of an older generation doesn't happen anymore, but it is happening. And that's how the B Network is reindustrialising Rochdale and Greater Manchester. And actually, we're going to go further this week. We will announce tomorrow 160 T-level placements in the B Network. So more young people can have a path to a really good career. And it's all part of our alternative to the university route called the Greater Manchester Baccalaureate, the MBAC. So we give all of our young people a clear path in life. But obviously, the best news of all today is that the government is backing the B Network with £2.5 billion. Thank you, Secretary of State. This is fantastic news for Greater Manchester, because it will take the B Network into the next phase and into a really exciting future. I had a glimpse of that future last week in Ashton, in Tameside, where we have just brought through our first all-electric depot. With the funding provided by the government, we will create the UK's first fully integrated, all-electric, zero-emission public transport system, and we will do that by the end of the decade. It's an incredible vision, and Greater Manchester is really bringing forward the future, as we have done so many times in our city's history. But the funding also will go right round Greater Manchester and benefit people in all parts of the city region. So here in Rochdale, we will see a new tram-train service begin, linking Oldham, Rochdale, Haywood, which hitherto has not been on our Metrolink system, and then up to Bury. We will have a new tram line to Stockport, which is something people there have long called for. We will bring 8 rail lines, with the support of the Secretary of State, into the B Network. We will integrate those lines into our capped payment system, like TfL Overground in London. 64 train stations will come in, and they will be amazing places to live and to invest, again, showing how transport can bring good growth. New interchanges in Lee and Bury, new tram stops in North Manchester, in Oldham, another one in Bury. This funding will go right round our city region. And what this says to you is that good transport powers good growth. Greater Manchester, in our first decade of devolution, has been growing faster than the UK economy for 10 years. 3.1% average annual growth over that period. That is something that hasn't happened for most of us here in our lifetimes. Most of the time, we've been growing slower than the UK economy, and the north-south divide has been getting wider. Well, we've reversed that, and we are closing that north-south divide now. But with this funding in the next decade, I believe we can go even further. And my offer to the Chancellor today is to achieve an even higher level of growth in the next decade than we did in the last. And I believe we can do that. I think the decade ahead of us, 2025 to 2035, could be the best decade for Greater Manchester since the Victorian period. And that is something that we are determined, myself, the leader of Rochdale, the leader of Oldham, the leader of Trafford, who are with us today, all of us together, we believe we can do it. And we now have got the backing to do it. So what I would say to the government is, we're ready to unlock a new era in Greater Manchester and really show how we can power the north with good growth, benefiting all of our residents and all of our communities. It's clear today that we are benefiting from a government that is actually putting investment into the north. The levelling up that was once promised is actually happening here. So the government is backing us, and our message from Greater Manchester today is that we're backing you, we're backing our Chancellor of the Exchequer, as she goes into next week's spending review. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves.
And because we know the potential that exists in all of our towns and cities, I can tell you today that we will be making the biggest ever investment by a British government in transport links within our city regions and their surrounding towns. £15.6 billion in transport funding settlements to be delivered by our regional mayors. More than doubling real-term spending on city-region connectivity. The last government made big promises to invest in city regions. We heard it all. But they had no plan to fund it. Thanks to the changes to our fiscal framework announced in the budget, this government now does have the money to fund it. And that money is going to our mayors to deliver on the priorities of their communities. New trams, new train stations and bus routes to link up our towns and cities. Unlocking new homes, new jobs, new investment and leisure opportunities across our regions. And let me take you through those city regional investments in turn. Investment in Greater Manchester to help make the B network that is built here in Rochdale the UK's first fully integrated zero-emission public transport system by 2030, with new tram stops in Bury, North Manchester and Oldham, and a new Metrolink extension to Stockport, meaning shorter commutes into central Manchester, making sure that 90% of Greater Manchester residents will live within a 5-minute walk of a bus or tram that comes at least once every half an hour. And opening up connections for people in Bury, in Haywood, in Rochdale and in Oldham to the tens of thousands of new jobs in the Northern Gateway.